All right. So if you are seeing our tired and disgusted and frustrated faces, it's because we are all of that. And this is our sixth or seventh attempt to record this. First, Riverside failed. Then Zoom, we saw that it was horrible quality. So we found
Yeah.
out StreamYard. And because we're using a free account, it's obviously not going to give us that quality video. Is going to give us 720p, so bear with us. Our content is premium, our video will get premium after a while. Once we choose actually which platform should we invest in, you can actually suggest us if you have any preference. But yeah, welcome to Navigating episode 2, video episode 2. It's actually our 11th episode because we publish a lot on Spotify before this. Last episode, we talked about how social media actually played a crucial role in the Charlie Kirk and Nepal incidents, and we talked about how social media, should it be regulated, should it not be regulated. So you can watch that. I've also released a newsletter, new kind of newsletter, where I just sit for 1 hour and look at the biggest story and give you a glimpse of what the story is all about and give you sources which you can use to dive deeper. It's something fun I'm trying out, and I have gotten a positive result, positive feedback from two people. One of them is sitting here. So, yeah. Hi, Vedant. How are you? And welcome to Navigating once again, the most exciting part of my week. Maybe not
Yeah.
yours, but my week.
I wish I could say it's nice to see you, but I actually can't because I'm staring at the back cover of my phone at the OnePlus logo. So this is
Mm.
a very weird experience for me because I can't see you. I don't know what you're doing or saying. I don't even know how I'm looking. I'm just trusting
Yeah,
you
interesting.
on the
Yeah.
fact that you've told me that this is the best angle, and I don't know, I'll only get to know when this episode comes out. So
I
yeah,
think this is
a very
this
weird
is a
experience for me.
yeah, this is passion. I mean, this is what entrepreneur realism is all about. You can't
Yeah.
complain, man. You just have to go and do it. Uh, I think there are simpler ways, but I think we didn't do those simpler ways. But anyways,
Yeah.
so this podcast or this Convocast, I like that term more, is mostly about. Okay, we go through a lot of things during a week. We consume a lot of content. We communicate with a lot of people, and I think there is a lot to discuss about these things because it has a deeper meaning, according to me, at least. Because I think information plays a crucial role in our day-to-day lives and how we perceive things, how we take decisions. So this week, I think it was a big move from my side because I moved all my Spotify songs to YouTube Music. And that was important because Spotify used to, or Spotify does, just remove the songs. I think the contract expires, or I don't know what happens with the musicians, but
I
the
think
song just
sometimes they
disappears.
don't have the rights to a particular song.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
Yeah,
I've
and I
sometimes
think they
felt that.
renew it. Yeah, they renew it after a while, but yeah, I think it just annoys me, and so I shifted this to YouTube Music because I feel that just artists just upload their music anyways to YouTube, so they won't remove it unless they decide to. I don't know, but so I use this tool, and I will give the link below. I checked it; it's completely safe. So instead of moving one by one, or instead of paying a software for just this one task, I use this free tool created by a guy on Reddit. And I know Reddit is not a very super trusted website, but I looked at the reviews. I also looked at the information we need to give that tool for the transfer of songs, and it is also completely safe, so you can use it. I think I really like when someone uses a free source code. So source code is, or open source code is, nothing but a program that allows someone to build upon it. So for example, if Microsoft source code, so the fundamental foundation of the operating system, is given for free to people can design their own Microsoft versions. But obviously Microsoft doesn't do that. But so this guy had this YouTube API source code, and he created tool out of it. So great, I really liked it. You can if you are annoyed with Spotify, or if you have YouTube Premium but don't have Spotify Premium, you can just shift your this thing playlist over there. That was a big thing from my side, I think. What are you up to?
Oh, today I am actually very excited for the United game. As you can see, uh, I don't know if it's visible or not, but I'm wearing
Yes,
the
it is. Yeah.
jersey, and yeah, I think that is going to be the deciding factor of my weekend, whether it's going to be a happy one or a
Yeah.
frustrating one. So
it
yeah, I
it's
think
Yeah. So it's not a sports podcast, we know that. But
yeah,
for someone, I think for a lot of sports fans, whether men or women, I think it's very strange when we actually, like, our mood affects, or is affected so much by the result of the team. And I think India Pakistan plays as well. If this video releases on Sunday today, if not, then yesterday India/Pakistan has already won, and we could see a lot of change in the entire trajectory of our nation based on the result.
yeah.
So that is how much people really love
But
their team.
the
Yeah,
it was the discourse was so funny because the first time, I think this is the third time that India are playing Pakistan in this Asia Cup. For the
yeah,
first match, everyone was like, we're going to boycott it and we won't watch. We don't want to give broadcasters the money that will eventually fund Pakistan and stuff like that. So first match, probably not a lot of people watched. Second time they played, people were like, okay, you know, we first time we did it, now we'll just see the scores. And now the third time it's the final. So now I think most of the people have probably forgotten about the entire protest or the boycott, and
yeah.
a lot of people are
This
going
is
to
how
watch it because it's the final.
Yeah, this is how information works, though. It's I mean, like, if people in power want certain subjects to be noticed, they will make sure that it is noticed. And when they don't want it, they'll try to distract, and we get distracted, I think. And it's human nature, I think, to just get
Yeah,
distracted. And yeah, but I think we should have a separate episode to explore why supporting a sports team matters so much to
yeah,
fans, and how and why that result um like affects us so much. So that's an interesting thing. Also, we watched Gangs of New York the other
yeah,
night, and it was a very good
yeah,
experience. I think this was the second time we actually just forgot that we need sleep and just watched the movie till morning,
yeah,
and then I think spent an hour contemplating it, and then slept at 7:38 a.m. So that was a
yeah,
fun experience, because I really like that. If you look at the older movies, you often see a lot of scenes are like stretched, and they try to give you details. And even this is also true in Bollywood movies. You look at some of the old 60s, 70s, 80s movies, and when they want to tell that, okay, this guy is actually falling in love with this girl, they will spend a lot of time on expressions, they will spend a lot of time on like world building and songs and everything. Whereas, like, movies, like modern movies, are very much fast paced, and
yeah,
sometimes we don't actually kind of follow what's happening if the movie is very slow. But this was a very long movie. It started at what, 3:30, and ended
yeah,
at 6:15, I think. So
yeah.
what
Five
was your
forty-five,
experience?
6.
Yeah,
So I think I have now. I believe that such a movie should be watched at very late in the night, around 2 or 3, because the kind of impact it creates when you watch a movie at that time compared to if you watch a movie in the morning or the afternoon, it's light and day for me personally, because the last time we watched Ballads of Buster Scruggs, the next day I was completely absorbed by the movie when I was watching it, and the next day I spent it in the aftermath of it. Like, what a great movie it was. And the same happened with Gangs of New York this time, because again, Daniel Day Lewis absolutely killed it in that
yeah,
role of the butcher. Like, I actually researched about it. He did not win an Oscar. Adrian Brody won it for The Pianist that year, but in my opinion, he totally deserved it because I think he carried majority of the film because Leonardo DiCaprio was a pretty young actor. I think when this movie was shot, he might not
Mm,
have been that famous and he looked pretty young, so I think he was
mm,
the main star attraction of the movie. But coming to the overall movie, I think it's interesting that you pointed out how movies earlier in the day were very long and now they are shorter. So while I was researching about the movie, i I found out that the first ad for this movie that this is going to be short actually came out in 1977, but the movie actually went into production in 1990 and then came out years later. So it was a movie which was 25 years in the making. And
mm,
Martin Scorsese, the director, it was like he grew up in Little Italy, so he saw a lot of this gang wars and stuff in earlier the starting period of New York. So it was like his dream project or some sort, but no one was ready to fund it at that time because it needed a lot of production cost to build the sets and to recreate that world from back then. So that is why it took a lot of time. Scorsese himself said in an interview that in the 80s, when he wanted to build this film, that the time to give directors that kind of funding to build their dream project was long gone. So you had to wait a long time till Harvey Weinstein and his brothers Miramax studio picked up the production rights. And you mentioned that the long earlier the movies were longer. This movie actually was the first, the final cut that came in from Scorsese was 3 hours and 40 minutes long.
mm,
That's how long it took. Because I get it. Like if you wanted to make this since his childhood and if you give him creative freedom, it was so many years in the making, more than 2 decades, then he obviously would have wanted to build it according to his vision and his his whatever he thought would portray New York best at that time. But a lot of the disputes with Weinstein were because of this fact that he wanted to keep this movie short because he wanted to keep it commercial, but Scorsese
mm,
did not agree. He wanted his version. So eventually, Weinstein took the creative control of the movie. There were a lot of disputes between those two back in the day. He did not even like the Billy Butcher being on the poster because he thought that, a rugged sort of look won't attract the viewers or won't make the film look as aesthetic as it should be. He did not like the Dead Rabbits name given to the clan and stuff like that. So a lot of disputes were happening, and the movie that we actually saw was cut down for around 1 hour and 10 minutes, and still it seemed
mm,
that long. But I also realized towards the end that maybe they rushed it a bit because they did not allow the world building to completely take into place, and
mm.
the ending did feel a bit rushed for me. I don't know about you, but if Scorsese had gotten his say and his cut, maybe it would have felt complete as to what we saw that
Yeah.
day.
Mm. Yeah, could be, could be. I'm just trying to search this one movie. I think he made like this could be the I think the 1980s version of Gangs of New York and The Irishman. Yeah, The Irishman. I think it
Yeah,
released in 2019. So that movie was also 3 hours. So he is he's a director, I guess, who does not like to compromise on his movies and just cutting it short
yeah,
so that more viewers can see. And I admire that to some extent, to be at a such a uh, commercial level, and then you're not compromising on this. It really shows that they are actually in love with movie making more than the movie
yeah,
business. And Gangs of New York was that, I think, yeah, like you said, loved the Butcher. And just to to see a villain who we also got sympathies for at some point of time, where we
yeah,
know that he's a cold hearted and cold blooded murderer, we know. But just to set this world, so world building is so important in that scenario, where we understood what the world is. We understood how the Butcher lives in that and exists in that, and when whatever he justifies doing, then we feel as if, yeah, he is doing for that survival, and he gives respect to the priest as well. So in that sense, we are like, okay, he's an honorable horrible person. And just to
Yeah.
give these confusing feelings, because watching movies, sometimes we just know that this is a bad guy, this is a good guy, and there's a fight between them, and all right, we don't feel a lot about the villain. But these movies kind of show, okay, there is, everyone is a villain.
Yeah.
Everyone is a villain in that perspective, everyone is a hero in that
Yeah.
perspective. Anyways, if people haven't watched the movie, I don't want to spoil it a lot, but yeah, it's an amazing movie. Ending may feel rushed a bit, yeah, but again, the expressions and everything, just feels like these characters are real.
Yeah.
So that's the case. I also wanted to, is there anything else, or can we move on?
No, I think it's just one point I read which was
Mhm.
pretty interesting, that as you talked about the world building, I also liked the the sets and all the world that he built around that, because while watching it you actually felt that you were in that kind of atmosphere, and you could see how dirty he tried to portray that Five Points
Mhm.
place, where
Mhm.
it was, everything was just so bad that it was just a disaster waiting to be happened. Like eventually when the protests and all started, they eventually burned all the buildings and stuff, all of that. But yeah, the one point that I read, that the set that they built was so massive that they failed to actually, they fell short of people to fill in the set to make it
Mhm.
look, like people will. So that was the kind of focus that Scorsese
Mhm.
and his team brought, which is again admirable. But if he, as I said, if he would have gotten his way, maybe it would have been a very, better
Yeah.
masterpiece.
So I get that there is this criticism about these movies as well. So for Godfather, I think one criticism is, why do a lot of men love these kind of movies? Because in these movies, women kind of have no respect at all, and they can just solve their problems being violent, and that just like allows them, like, you can cheat, you can
Yeah.
hire prostitutes, you can kill anyone who you don't like, and it just kind of, I would say, uh, I would say fills into that fantasy of a lot of men, perhaps, who feel as though this world is changing and no one respects them anymore. I don't know. I mean, we are of a different generation, so I don't like these movies for the violence and stuff that they have,
Yeah.
or like, okay, how men are so superior than women in these movies. I kind of like them because because of the dialogues, because of the acting and other stuff. But yeah, I mean, what's your thought on that? Just remember this, yeah.
Yeah, I think the main reason why I have started to like the movies about the West is because, obviously, because of Red Dead Redemption 2. Uh, Like while playing that game and getting connected to that world, I really like watching movies because it reminds me of that game, first of all, which was so
Hmm.
great. And I just sort of feel that connection to it. And second, I don't think it's because of the violence that you like any movie. It's just that you get to know how the world was back then, and it kind of makes you feel glad that we have come a long way, thankfully. Because
Yeah,
if we
thankfully.
were back in the West, there were like so many ways we could die and nobody would have even cared. So yeah, more than the violence or how the men are portrayed or how the fantasies of men are fulfilled, like how they show in the movies, I think it's just a great insight to actually watch. And it's not just the this particular genre of movies, be it any, even if you show from the 90s or the world wars or anything before that, it would still be fascinating, because the world, kind of world we are living in right now, it's very different from what was back then. And it's always amazing to see how much humans have come, how far humans have come since then, and how we used to stay back then and stuff like that. So that's what fascinates me more than any of the points you mentioned.
Mhm.
But as you said, maybe for some people it fits into the
Mhm.
patriarchal mindset or fantasy that killing people, taking out their violence, treating women like objects, like they don't matter, not having any sort of commitment. Maybe that that's what fantasize like interests a lot of people, but I don't think we watch it for that kind of.
And yeah, and one more amazing thing is that gangsters used to roam free, and then they realized that we can do more crime and actually ensure that we don't go to jail if we work with the politicians. And that's
Yeah,
why we kind of have a safe world today, because if you even read some of the books of Mumbai crime and Mumbai gangsters,
yeah,
even Indian gangster history, you kind of realize that very, very soon these gangs realized there is literally no benefit of coming out and trying to terrorize people, because
yeah,
someone will catch us, and we will going to be running in a lot of trouble. So let's hide behind the walls of politicians and get into the politician and elect people who will allow us to do whatever we want. So that's
yeah,
that's the world we actually live in, and these movies, I think, kind of remind us that, yeah, because okay, if you haven't watched this movie, then skip this
yeah,
part. But the butcher actually, after 15, 16 years, when he killed the priest and stuff, he was actually very much behind the scenes. He never, until that one moment when he just threw the weapon at the elected
yeah,
official. But apart from that scene, he was just behind in the background doing his stuff, paying the police, paying the politicians to just do whatever he wanted, and not and stand up as a guy who people respected, or someone like, I'm an
yeah,
elite class someone. And we see that in Daredevil as well. If you have watched the first season of Daredevil, uh, the I think, yeah, the main villain also tries to do the same thing in New York. So again, New York, yeah. So this is something very interesting.
yeah. I think the arc of every gangster is when they start out, they're probably not from a very good financial background. They start
Yeah,
fantasizing about these wars, this crime. So there is a point in the early stages where they just want to get into a gang and please the leader. Then when they start climbing up the ranks, they start feeling, this, I want fame, I want recognition. Then after they get into the leadership position, they realize, no, this is actually going to harm my reputation in the long run. I think I should just focus on the money making business. And then after some point, when they are done with all of this, they just become politicians themselves. And
yeah,
we see a lot of that in India as well. So, yeah, I think that is the arc of probably gangsters, successful
yeah,
ones who manage to live till the 60s or 70s of their lives if they are
yeah.
not killed in gang wars.
Also, I just realized it's written heroes don't smoke here. You can't see
What?
it. Sorry, you
Oh,
can't
yeah,
see it.
sorry.
I have a comic behind me. It's written
Yeah,
heroes don't smoke on it. So I just
okay.
realized that. All right. I don't know why, but okay. Yeah, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is the Bads of Bollywood, the new series that has come up in Netflix. It's directed
Yeah,
by the son of Shah Rukh Khan. And two friends, I think two of our friends said it's a really nice series and you must watch it. I tried to watch the first episode. So I finished the first episode, and the thing what I wanted to talk about is that this guy, I think, went to some foreign university to run cinematography and direction and stuff. He's coming here. He has all the networks, contacts, budget. So his first ever series, the first ever big project is with Netflix.
yeah,
He is bringing in Karan Johar, Raja Mauli, and Amir Khan to do cameos. He has Ranveer Singh to do cameos. He had Badshah to do cameos. He's literally directing Bobby Deol. So it's like, if you have so much access, so much resources, why give a subpar series which lacks a comic sense, I think. And it's for me, and I'll come to that, why I'm saying that, and why I'm not bashing, or I'm not like, why you shouldn't take my opinion as criticism of that series. Because okay, so okay, I didn't find any like a comic direction to it. I didn't find that, okay, he wants to, the story isn't that interesting. We have seen a lot of these series before anyways. The only good thing is probably someone who is very obsessed with Bollywood is kind of getting these under the belly kind of new stories where, oh, he's referencing this story with that story.
Yeah, yeah,
That's probably the good thing in it. But soon I realized that, okay, so this mainstream series and movies supposedly made for Gen Zs, and I fall into Gen Z, and you fall into Gen Z generation. They're
yeah,
just not made for us. They're not made for someone who likes to watch movies and likes to, watch movies like Gangs of New York, for example. They're not made for us. They are made for audiences that don't have time to watch these movies, perhaps, and they just want to put on a series while having lunch, while having dinner. They just want to put on a series while talking with their friends. And that's what it is. I think this series is a background series. So Brooklyn Nine Nine, I watched Brooklyn Nine Nine the entirety of it, really focusing because I liked it. But now I just put on Brooklyn Nine Nine in the background whenever someone either comes in and we just don't
yeah.
have anything to do and we have to, or I'm having lunch and I don't want to watch anything serious, so I just put that on. I think this is the same series. No one actually cares about what happens in the series. It's just something running, and I'm very disappointed that someone, a son of the superstar, as we call it in India, son of a superstar, is actually giving us this kind of product which is so mediocre and even direction wise. So just very, very disappointed. And you go now, your opinion, and then I have a scene that I saw yesterday with two of our friends, and that will kind of highlight what I am saying and what this guy gets completely wrong and why this series is a background series. It will emphasize on that point. But yeah, I'll come to you
Okay.
first. Yeah.
Background series is a great term. Did you come up with it, or is it like
Yes.
actually
Right
used?
now. It came to me
Okay.
right now.
It's really great term, man. Thank you. I'll use it. Background series or a rewatch series, kind of
Yeah.
actually nice. But yeah, I actually haven't watched it, so I don't think I'm, qualified
Mhm.
enough to say anything about it. What I can say about is, as a non-watcher, what I have read about people saying about the series, or uh, what if whether that is motivating me to watch it or not. So I think, as you said, with having that much of access and having that much of resources and money and connections, I think someone would expect a much better product than this, because whatever the reviews that I've seen of it, it's either negative, as you said, not negative, but not really in the favor of the series. But whatever positive I've read about the series on why I should watch it, the first thing is that, it has a lot of star cast that people are saying that, hey, Aryan Khan actually managed to get all of these celebrities together in a series which no one has managed to do before. But if I just wanted to watch a bunch of celebrities coming together for one event, I would rather watch the IFA or Filmfare Awards. Why would I want to watch this? Like,
Nice.
the reason for me to watch this would be the
Uh,
story or something engaging that, that prompts me to, or to keeps me hooked to the series to go on to the next episode. But I didn't find any of the reviews compelling. Like, as you said,
yeah.
maybe the meta humor or the reference jokes, but that's about it. Like, why would I want to watch a series just so that, because it has a lot of references to real life events? Like, for example, that Samir Van Khedek is okay, a very big thing. Like, they managed to make jokes out of it, they managed edgy humor. But is that really why I want to invest so much of my time into all of these episodes? Like, it's not even that amusing for me as a non-watcher right now. If you want to convince me to watch it, there has to be some sort of substance to it, but it just lacks that, I feel. And maybe his Shah Rukh Khan's daughter, Suhana Khan, she also had a pretty mediocre debut with Archie's. I think that was the first movie. That was also a Netflix product. Now Aryan Khan is doing the same. So it just kind of, because Shah Rukh Khan himself is someone who had no sort of backing and who kind of became a star from the streets. And now watching his kids with all of these resources at their disposal, doing stuff like this, it just, it kind of makes me feel very disappointed. I don't
Yeah.
know, but
Let's Exactly. It's disappointing. I'm not even saying
Yeah,
that, he's done a bad job and it's such a, not saying that. Just disappointing that given the resources, this could have been so much better.
exactly. But so yeah, as a non-watcher right now, I don't have any valid points to actually turn on that series, because I think there are a bunch of series like that on Netflix. You introduced me to the uh, Fantastic Lives of Bollywood Wives, I think. And then there was another show that
Yeah.
came out recently. I don't remember its name. It has Bhumi Pednekar in it, but
Yeah,
you
the
said
the
that was
Royals, I
trash as
think
well.
the Royals.
The Royals. So I don't know what this genre is of series,
Yeah.
they're trying to make, Netflix is trying to make with all this star cast, expecting people to watch it. But the main part which is supposed to make any movie or any series great is missing from it, which is the story, or something that actually keeps the audience hooked. So I don't know, as you said, maybe this is not for us, this is for the generation that actually relies
Yeah.
on its content for reels, and that's their main source of entertainment. Maybe for
Exactly.
them it's really great, but not for me, I don't think, and
Yeah,
I won't
exactly.
even probably watch it because of that reason.
Yeah, because and another disappointment is that it is not for me, because I want to see these guys coming together and create something really good. And again, this is a
Yeah,
very subjective opinion. So, okay, one criticism, okay, you just watch one episode. Yeah, I went to the second episode. I watched the second episode as well, and then the story kind of develops. It's all right. I mean, it's a good story. All right, okay story. uh but I'm not talking about the whole quality of the show based on the story and based on the acting and stuff. I'm just talking about how these scenes are written and how these scenes are shot, and the cinematography of it and the vibe of it in general, because sometimes this feels like it's a comedy sort of a take on Bollywood, but sometimes it gets really serious. So, and it gets really frustrating because it's a funny take on Bollywood, but the characters in it are very serious. So
yeah,
there is a difference, right? If you're making a funny movie, so for example, Dhamal. So Dhamal is a comedy movie. The characters in it are, it's they are not serious about their life, or they're not serious about what they are saying. So it matches up. But if you want to make a comedy movie and the characters in it are really experiencing high stakes in every decision they're making, then it doesn't become funny, it becomes like annoyingly making fun of them, making fun of
yeah,
these guys. And for example, you want to root for a guy, you want to root for the hero who actually signs a contract under pressure, totally his fault. And whatever, the producer forces him, but he could have said no, but he didn't. And again, that should have, at least the scene should have been set up in such a way that he had no other choice than signing, but he signs it anyways out of FOMO and out of desperation, and then tears up the contract in front of the producer in the next episode by saying that, what, contract and stuff, you can't control me. You signed the contract, he is right. The producer is the villain in the series, but in this scene
okay,
he is right because you signed a contract with him. So, okay, people haven't watched it, I won't go into detail. I'll just like describe one scene that I absolutely emphasizes my point as to why I'm so disappointed and so confused about this. So there is a film set. The producer, whose name is Sodawala, is actually a very
okay,
bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy. He controls everyone. He's a very, like, he has a huge ego and stuff. So he's on the set. Then there's a, I think, production head, a woman who is fat, you could say that, and who is kind of very bold, and she directly goes on and says something that, okay, we can't do this, and he's like, you don't talk to me like that and stuff. So he's rude. All right, get it. He's a producer, he's a bad guy, he talks very rudely. She stands up for herself. She says something, then there's an escalation, and then she pushes him. So she is the first one to act violently. She pushes him two or three times, and then he kicks her in her stomach so violently that she
okay,
flips and bounces on the ground, and then is I think unconscious. And then the producer's assistant comes in and he says, how can you hit a woman, sir? How can you hit a woman? Like, that's the end of the scene. Now, why
Okay.
this is such a bad scene? First of all, standing women standing up for themselves is good, but here it's shown very bad because she's shown
Yeah.
fat, because she is conventionally ugly, so she's shown that way. He makes fun of her. He is kind of saying fatty to her. And whenever he says that you are fat, you are fatty, you are a pig, there's a music playing of an elephant trumpet. So,
Okay.
like, it's so cringe because if I call someone fat and to emphasize that this is such a joke on her,
Yeah.
then there's
Yeah.
elephant trumpet playing. So now what this does is, first of all, it shows this villain as not a bad guy, but shows him as a badass. Because
Yeah.
we know that in our society there are a lot of men, still in India there are a lot of men who now, men or even women, find, okay, fat shaming is oh, we can't even say someone fat now, oh, that's so bad now, okay, society is so weak. These alpha males and the manosphere thing, like, okay, they women standing up for themselves is like, okay, she is so arrogant for a woman and it's her fault. So it's also shown that she first puts hands on him, and then he kicks her and says, मैं औरतों पे हाथ नहीं उठाता. And then there's a, like, what are we supposed to laugh at that? So this is what I'm trying to say.
I think we left this comedy back in the 2010s with Kapil Sharma, right? This is the Kapil Sharma comedy
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. And
gets.
again, I have no issues with making jokes on fat people. That's fine. But when this scene entirely is justifying the villain's acts, then that does not mean that you're showing something positive. You're
Yeah.
showing something completely different, and you're giving people reasons to justify that actions of that person. So I get it. Villain can be bad. You can show him kicking women and show the audience that he's such a cunning person. But to show and make justify his jokes on that lady first, that kind of then makes him a badass for taking action, because she hit him first and then you kicked her, and then the producer's assistant is saying, how can you hit a woman? So again, it's emphasizing that how in this society women are now having more power, that okay, women can hit men, but men can't hit women,
Yeah.
which is not the case, which is like just completely unbelievable messaging, and he's not researched what is going on in the world. I think this scene makes me judge the director by saying, okay, you're sitting in your mansion and you're just listening to whatever jokes your friends are doing, and then you're just showcasing that. So
Yeah.
just so disappointing. And yeah, I'm done now, I'm done. Not going to speak on this more, because I think, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
not just on this show, but we've seen it a lot and we've discussed about it as well, that these new people making their debuts in Bollywood, why is it so underwhelming that they, I don't know, if is Bollywood actually not producing good films? Or I actually read this theory somewhere that all of these star kids that are being launched, they're deliberately being launched in such cringe movies so that they could set the bar so low that when they do a mid movie or a average movie, the people would be actually praise them, to be like, hey,
Hmm.
still better than that, which is being done on purpose because there are not good movies being made in Bollywood anymore. So that could be a theory, but almost all of the movies featuring these star kids these days, whether they are being directed or whether they're acting in it, this just so bad. Like, what happened to the good old days when, like, I don't know, it's just so frustrating because it's so cringe. It's like they actually deliberately make this so that people get frustrated or people promote it for being cringe, and they just care about the engagement and they don't actually care about the audience's opinions about whether the film was good or bad. They just want engagement. That is why they make so trash content that it just gets promoted on reels or posts that how bad it was, but it just kind of helps them to probably get make their money back. That's probably all they care about.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah, I think we are done. We were supposed to talk about the other things as well. But I think this is fine. I think we talked about one really good movie, what we loved about it, and the other one, what I had problems with. I don't know, but I don't know if people will understand. I don't know. Only if people have watched it, maybe they will. I think I need to add at least a screenshot or something, or at least a recording of that scene so that people will get what I'm
Yeah,
saying. So, anyways, maybe I'll do it in the editing, or I would have already done it. So, is it the future or the past? Where are we living? What is this moment
yeah.
now? Is this the edited version or the recorded version?
I
So,
don't know. But I actually just came up with a like what I feel is a really good review, one line review or summing up the bads of Bollywood. It
mhm,
would be what Aryan Khan has created is the Salman Khan of series, because it just has
yeah,
a hype of being badass and having a lot of people, or just has
mhm,
that aura, but
yeah,
there's no
yeah, yeah,
substance, there is no acting, there is no story, there is nothing to it. So it's the Salman Khan of series, you could say.
yeah, amazing. And to your Filmfare reference, I think Bads of Bollywood is an endless string of these extra cuts that Filmfare and award shows do to show what is going on behind the scenes. So
Behind
it's
the
like,
scene. Yeah.
yeah, it's just that every scene is
Yeah.
just that. So
Okay.
yeah,
Maybe I need to watch it just to see how cringe it could get. Like we watch those
yeah,
so bad, it's so good movies.
yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. We are done. Thank you, Vedant, for joining. This was a fun episode. So, again, just to remind everyone why we do this, because we feel that throughout the week, we actually consume a lot of content, we communicate with a lot of people, and a lot of things matter more than we think they matter. And I feel personally that information and the media ecosystem that the humans have created from the last 3000 years is shaping our world in ways that we are not yet ready for. So we need to understand who is doing what are the systems behind these media and other information systems. So if you want to know about that, you can follow us on YouTube, where we meet weekly and talk about fun stuff. But also, I release other episodes or other videos where I explain the systems behind what you are getting. So I did an episode on how media behaves during warlike situations and how we should navigate through that. We have a manosphere episode ready that will be published soon. I'm also doing an episode on AI now that a lot of people are using Chat GPT. What are the things going on behind that and how you can navigate through this AI era. And I also post a lot of small things on Instagram where in 1.5 minute I pick up a fact. The next fact is I'm still writing the script for it, but the Alan Turing thing. So why Alan Turing was so important for the this AI wave in the 1950s. So really amazing. So I just put out facts that are really interesting, so you can follow us or follow me on Instagram, navigating Convocast. All right, until next time.